Whoa, it's the Illusion, reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. I'm here with Charlie.
What's up?
We're in Mollusk Surf Shop. Mollusk Surf Shop. Buy your stuff here. Anyway, we're here. We're going to do an interview. Charlie, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Charlie Harns. I'm from here in Manhattan Beach, California, and I just moved back from Washington State. Big shout out to all the guys at the Mukilteo skate park, and to my dad and my mom and my brother.
Wow, dude. I think you got everyone.
Yep.
All right, man. This is your... Charlie's going to interview me, so...
Yeah, so I just thought I had a couple questions for the Illusion here, and I believe that most people might have the similar questions to ask him, so I thought it would be cool to ask him. So, my first question, has being on YouTube changed you as a person, or have you always been the same guy?
Nah, it hasn't changed me, really.
Yeah. That's what I thought, because, you know, being on YouTube, it's I mean, with having the videos and everything and having a bunch of viewers nowadays, has it made you feel like you're, you know, famous or more well-known at all, or?
I mean, you know, it's a, I mean, of course, I mean, people recognize me on the street. I mean, so
Yeah.
that's going on, but I've never viewed life as sort of a background character, man. I've always
Yeah.
been the center of my own reality, so.
Right on. I think that's the way to live, man.
Yeah, you know, so I don't really view it as, like, famous or not famous, you know?
Yeah.
People know who I am. I got the bowl cut, though I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, man, that was rad.
You know, the Tosh
Yeah.
0.0 thing blew it up.
Yep.
You know, I bumped into people overseas and stuff who knew,
Oh, wow.
who called me out of the crowd.
There
So,
you go.
I mean, it's a cool experience.
Yeah, right on. So, and then my next question is my friend Alex up in Mukilteo, Washington. He's really good at skateboarding, you know, and he has this dream to become a professional skater. But at the same time, he's on track for college and to do well in school. So should he follow his dream of becoming a professional skater, or should he finish up school?
Seems like you just do both at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, right? It's a tricky thing, man. I skate because I love it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. I don't view it as an economic machine or that, but I mean, if you got the chops, and that's. I mean, it's a different generation.
Yeah.
So almost like skating there was no fame in skating back then. It was just was what you did because that's what you did. There was no one promoting it.
Yeah,
you were
man.
basically kind of shunned for skating. So I mean, if someone's got the opportunity to get paid to skate, that's pretty cool. But on the same level, I mean, to be a pro skater nowadays, you have to have hammers,
Yeah,
man.
for sure, man.
It's not what it was with being nifty and tricky and athletic, dude. You
Yeah.
got to basically sacrifice all your limbs
Yeah.
to do it. So one injury, you're one injury away from the breadline if you don't have a backup reality. So I
Yeah,
would say
for sure.
pursue school.
Uh-huh.
Keep doing your skating thing, and then, you know, when they give you the call,
Yep.
you go and do that. You can always go back to school, but if I'm a firm believer, if you put all your eggs in one basket, you're doomed for failure.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you got to follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, you can't let trying to fit yourself into the machine be a priority. It's got to be what you want to do. This
Yeah.
is your life, and you're only young once.
Yep. All right, man. And then I have a couple more questions. Evan Wallace from Mukilteo Skate Park is wondering what you think about how we have one life here on Spaceship Earth, and how we have to make it or break it, make it our own. What are your views on that?
Well, I mean, it's the cosmic question. I mean, whether you make it or break it, it doesn't matter. It's all your experience. I mean, plenty of people have chosen not to have the experience, and you can't judge them harshly. It's just their choice.
Yeah.
I mean, waking up and being responsible for your own life is a radical assignment, man. You have to be willing to face the consequences, and I think for a lot of people, they don't want to take responsibility for their own life because they don't know who they are.
Uh-huh.
So if you can figure out who you are first, before you start manifesting and taking your life on like that, I think you have a better chance of pulling it off. Like,
For
kind of
sure.
knowing what you don't want to do in life is helpful. And I think, you know, going back to your other friend's question,
Yeah.
that's what college and being young's about, is exploring a bunch of different avenues in life and being like, you know what, I went to college for environmental chemistry.
Okay.
And in college, I ended up publishing a novel.
Oh yeah.
Dropped out of college and moved up to Portland, Oregon,
Yeah.
to the Burnside. So, which led my life in a total different direction.
Yeah.
And so, back to Evan's question about the one lifetime thing, is I think you can manifest all sorts of different lifetimes within one lifetime.
All right.
Like, I've had, for 5 years, I was a cowboy out in Pennsylvania running a dude ranch.
Uh-huh.
I still surfed, I still skated, I still did all my stuff, but, I grew up riding horses, so that was something I needed to fulfill, was like having that lifestyle with the cowboy hats and the silver six shooters and the Jack Daniels and the whole thing.
For sure.
I spent like 4 years as a heavy-duty environmental activist doing the tree hugging thing up in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
At the same time, surfing, skating. I mean, my main driving force was the Burnside.
Yep.
And to do those two activities, be basically a Burnside skate bum and a tree activist, I took all sorts of random jobs at a temporary service agency, which gave me all sorts of access to different realities within that reality of, like, I went and worked in factories, I went and did all sorts of weird jobs just so I didn't have to commit to one job, and I got to see a lot of cool things.
Yeah, so you had the variety type of thing going on, like where you don't have just one single thing going on at one time. You're kind of doing a bunch of little things at the same time.
Well, I think underneath the whole thing that we call life is like a passion.
Yeah.
That you couldn't dismiss. I mean, you'd have to really go out of your way to dismiss your thing, but I think plenty of young people, I can only speak from my own experience and observation, is because they don't get immediate rewards in this society, they turn to like drugs and alcohol, or pursuing careers for money that don't fulfill them, and then they get caught into this like endless cycle of being not fulfilled.
For sure, man.
When I mean, I can look at my own life at 44 years of age. I never committed to the thing, so I don't have a family, like that. Like, I don't have any kids. I don't own a house. I don't own anything. And sometimes you go, well, maybe that would have been cool to like have the whole family. Maybe you can do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
You really, I think, just have to like go for it.
Yeah.
And be ready to like. You gotta be. This is the same to everyone. You have to be able to like fall on your face and get back up and not care who saw it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have your own internal compass and not care what anyone thinks about what you're doing. Because if you have something you're really passionate about, you'll know that it's the right thing for you to do, because everybody will say not to do it, because the jealous opposition always wants to keep a dreamer from fulfilling its dream. Because if you fulfill your dream, all the ones that are too chicken to like go for it feel stupid and awkward and like less than, and so they want to keep you from. They want you to join them in the cubicle. They
want to hold you back.
Misery loves company.
Yep.
So
right on. I mean, Evan, I think that's some prime advice, man. Yeah, and then
I talked to Evan a couple times, man, and I get it, man. Dude, when you're young, how old are you?
I'm 18.
When you're 18 now, when I was 18, I mean, it's such a cliched thing. Like, I thought I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And all I know now is, looking back on that, is thank God I'd taken some chances with my life.
Yeah.
And gone for it. But looking back now, I had no clue about anything. So when I talk to young people, I just try to say, hey, look, don't be so committed to what you think you know. Be open to information.
Yeah.
Let the information guide you down certain paths, and let your heart and gut tell you what not to do.
Yeah. As
long as you're not being told what not to do, like instinctively, like you kind of go for it, but when something's wrong.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go ripping people off or like shooting junk into your veins
Yeah.
and doing all these dumb things, but who am I to judge? You know, we all have to do our things to wake up, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, that's why it's really good to hear your advice, because you know you've been there, and us as young people, we haven't really experienced what it's like to go through a lot of things like that, and you know figure out our way through life, I guess.
Well, yeah, and there's this certain thing, you know, I bump into a lot of people who like quit skating, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and the weird thing is like I'm a survivor. Like I went through the dark '90s. Like you're young, so you don't know what the dark '90s was when skateboarding was dead, and you had to just skate. It was tough. Like you couldn't get vans, you couldn't get regular size wheels. Everything was pretty sketchy.
Yeah, for sure.
And we like made it. There were no skate parks. There was nothing but crappy banks, red curbs, and cops, man.
Yeah.
And because of that, like sticking through that thing, like at 44 to be able to go and like just roll around is like the greatest reward ever.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And I think that's something that I always try to like tell the youth about is like whatever you're like into, like stay into it. Just because you're not like a pro or like getting paid or like recognized for doing what you're doing. Like if you like it, it doesn't matter. Like as a skater, man, like I don't do anything special except have passion, man. And
just have fun.
that's it, man. I just want to have fun, and I don't care what anyone thinks.
For sure, dude. Yeah. And my last question, kind of tying into that, is for a while there, I know you stopped surfing because of the whole crowds thing in Malibu and everything. And I'm an avid surfer, and I know how that is down here in Southern California with all the crowds, you know, and stuff. And my question is, you know, what was the driving force that made you go back and start surfing again? Because I've seen your recent videos.
Well, I mean, again, it's one of those things, like I don't have a choice about being a surfer. Like,
Yeah.
It's just I am.
I know how that is, man.
You know, like
Yeah.
I've surfed up when I lived in Oregon, I surfed. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I surfed. You know, I've always surfed, and
For sure.
you know, surfing's such a weird thing. It's such an unharmonious activity. I mean, it's ironic we're sitting in a surf shop, but these are like these guys get it. Like surfing takes itself so seriously.
Yeah.
That it's that people roll out there with this like bad attitude, and I get it. The only reason I know what's going on is I am that guy.
Exactly.
To quote the surf punks, I am the cancer. I am the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you only like that's what it is like ignorance is bliss. So because I know what's going on out there, I can go there, and I don't like that. I don't dig what's going on in surfing on any level worldwide. I think that it's a sham. I think it's a travesty. I think it's an affront to Mother Nature. I think the way surfers treat each other and the general environment is pretty horrid.
Yeah.
Now, you know, there's cool guys like Dave Rostovich out there doing his thing. There's plenty of cool surfers, so I don't want to generalize, but the general surfing culture of itself is pseudo-intellectual. It's to be a really good surfer by default means you're not that intellectually like ahead of the curve because you had to sacrifice education to become a good surfer.
Yeah.
Like it's not like skating where you can go skate after school. Surfing's a school hour activity.
Yeah.
So I see this sort of like weird machine attached to surfing, and it's spreading around the world, and it's not bringing. Again, it's maybe it's all my perception. I'm
makes sense,
I'm jammed up on it. Like I just don't understand the whole thing. That like I used to think that surfing there was a lack. There aren't enough waves. It's why I got it. There's localism and this is there's not enough waves. But I've come over the rainbow on that one where I realized that it's all my own manifestation. Only I can manifest lack.
Yeah.
Only I can see lack where there's abundance. And I think that that's the whole surfing culture is based upon this lack. Like there aren't enough waves. There's plenty of surf out there. There's plenty of room for everyone to surf.
Yeah.
But the industry, just like the governments of the world and the whole thing, we've allowed them to dictate reality. When I say burn down the surfing industry, stop buying their products, don't be part of that, you know, it's a tricky thing because this is my bro surf shop, but these dudes get it. Like, Chad and Trace have a sense of humor, like, and so I support their thing wholeheartedly.
And this is like a kind of like local shop and, you know, area, and it's not a big business kind of thing. It's just
surfing's a quagmire for me. But at the end of the day, like, as much as I want to, like, sometimes quit surfing, I can't. Like, I'm a crack addict, man, when it comes to surfing. So, you know, I talked about it with some things of, you know, and like recovery, like the 12 steps. There is no 12 steps program for surfing. And for everything that people say is why they need a 12-step program, like they missed appointments, they blew relationships, they got fired from jobs, they became broke, they hurt themselves when they needed to be somewhere. All the things that drug addicts and alcoholics say are the problems with their lives and why they need to get better. I apply for surfing, dude. I can't tell you the number of opportunities I've missed in employment, the number of relationships that have failed, the number of people I've blown off to go surfing, the amount of chaos I've caused just to be part of the surfing reality. And you know, it's a trippy pursuit, man, especially as a skater. Like, I don't think surfers can relate who don't skate to what I'm talking about. Like, we just went down to the skate park. There's plenty of space for everyone, and people are like, oh no, it's there's plenty of room and there's everyone can go, and I go, no, that's not the deal. Everyone's going, man. It's just like surfing in that aspect. It's a limited resource. You saw, like, Venice today was empty, and it was still crowded. Because everyone's going, but within the community of skaters, there is this, like, hey bro, everybody go, and it's your turn, and okay, that guy's coming from over there, so he's coming, so I'm not going to go right now, I'm going to go after he goes, and everyone's feeding off of everybody in this limited space, and because no one's trying to be the hog, and the best skaters are the most generous. It's the exact opposite of surfing. Like, you know, you're the most ripping surfers generally tend to have, like, kind of a kooky attitude and a negative vibe towards other surfers. And I get it. Like, I get it because I've been it. You know, but I don't want to generalize because there's plenty of cool surfers out there. But generalizing is the only way you can talk about things.
For sure.
Sometimes. So, with that said, I don't know where that was going.
Oh well.
What else you got, man?
Well, dude, that's all I had. Do you have any questions for me or anything else to say?
Just live every day like it's your last, man. We had this cool skater kid who died the other day, man. Eric, shout out to Eric Renquist, man. White hair, DTC, the Down to Chill crew, man. And, you know, like, he's off the team now. Getting to almost back to your one final thing to wrap up the many lifetimes thing. I think that this is just one unique experience. And that we've been through, there's young souls and old souls and the whole thing. And I think we're at the point in time where, like, we either get it and we're about to turn into, like, energy, like the next form level is, like, energy where we don't need surfboards and skateboards and clothes and bodies and the whole thing. We are just pure consciousness. So, but I think you had to go through many lifetimes to work out the mistakes. I think you needed to go be a slave to not have to experience slavery. I think you needed to go be a woman who's been abused in a previous lifetime to not have to experience this now. And so we look at our own lives like, what don't we have to experience? Well, we've already experienced these. I've been a starving African child probably in another lifetime. I've been a soldier with my arms blown off in a previous lifetime. I've been the emperor of Rome in a previous lifetime. We've been all these things, and we have them all within us. So do I really need to, like, set up an army and go slaughter half the world so that I can drink fine wine on the Riviera. No, I don't need to do that anymore, man.
That's an interesting way to look at things, actually, yeah.
So I think that within, if you get into like fractals, fractals?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like fractals and lasers. Like, if you slice a hologram, like, I don't really understand, like, can't explain it that way. But if you slice a hologram up, within the hologram is the complete hologram, like the fractalness of it all. And I think within each one of us is all of us, like cosmically, and it's that in Lakesh, that you are another me. So why am I tripping on you if you are another me? Like,
for sure,
we need to get over the separation barrier.
All right, man. That makes awesome sense. Perfect. Thanks for doing this.
My pleasure, Charlie.
Nice
all right.
To meet you.
I like this format. Other people come interview me on my channel. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, giving a shout out to all the guys up in Washington and Mollusk Surf Shop here, Brothers Marshall, and any companies you want to shout out?
Well, Becker Surf in Hermosa Beach. I always ride their boards, and they're always cool to me. So.
Whose board? What kind of boards you ride nowadays?
I'm just mostly on small days. I'll ride just a longboard like 9.2, but anything bigger than 2 or 3 foot, I'll ride like a 6 foot.
Who's your shaper?
This guy named Wheatley, James Wheatley.
I got a couple Wheatleys, man. They work pretty good, man.
For sure.
All right, man. I think we're out.
For sure.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.